All right, good evening, good afternoon. My name is Dre Cuts by Dre, and this is New Styles Mobile Barber. Once again, bringing you another video episode. Today, we're going to be talking about the topic of the day is the best clippers for the fastest cut. Okay, you hear me? The best clippers for the fastest cut. This is episode 2 of the $100,000 Barber Challenge. We're going to be reviewing clippers. We're going to be reviewing cuts. And we're going to be giving y'all on some tips on how y'all can get to that $100,000 mark start next year. That was the challenge. You can check out my first video of the challenge to get a little bit up to speed. This is the second video. In this video, we're going to be talking about the clippers. But before we get started, let me kick y'all off with that main intro.
Number one of my class.
All right, y'all. I'm back. Cuts by Dre, New Styles Mobile Barber. And once again, today we're going to be talking about the best clippers for the fastest cut. And I got these clippers up in front of you right here. And we're going to be going over all of these clippers. And at the same time, I'm going to be reviewing the cut on the video screen. I always like to review a haircut so that I'm just not sitting here in front of the camera just talking, boring y'all to death. But I'm going to be trying to give you some good information on these clippers, how to get your cut game up a little bit faster, because in order to get to that 100K mark, you're going to have to cut a little bit faster than you might be cutting now. You need to get cuts within 30 minutes. And to do that, you got to have the best clippers for the job. And these clippers in front of me right here, I'm going to go through all of them in this video. These clippers, in my opinion, I'm a 30-year vet, been in the game for a minute, own a barbershop, own mobile barbershop. And with my experience, I'm going to try to help y'all, as well as help myself, get to that 100K mark. Okay, so let's get started here. Also, I always like to do a haircut, so we're going to start this haircut at the top. I'm inside my mobile van now. Today, we're going to be working on a basic mid to high fade on this gentleman. I'm going to be using the tools that I have in front of you right here in front of me, and I'm also going to be explaining these tools, what I like about them, what I don't like about them. Well, the first one I like to start out with, as you can see on the fella here, is the Andes BR clippers, man. These clippers right here are a workhorse, man. If you can see them up close, I'll go back to the big screen so you can actually see them a little bit better. These clippers right here, these are my workhorses. These are my workhorses for when I start my fades out. They are a very good clipper, man, as far as speed. They're extremely powerful. These are my number one go-to clippers right here when I start my fade out. As you can see, I'm working around this client and I'm using these Andes BR. They are detachable. Right now, I normally use the triple aught on them. That's the only one that I normally use. I don't normally go lower than that. And I normally never even use the one. I just use these clippers right here for starting out, getting out bulk. No matter how thick the hair is, this will clean it up real quick, real fast. And also, I don't do a lot of scissor cutting. I like to do clipper over comb cutting. These are perfect for that. No matter what texture hair you got, they'll go right through it and go right through it real fast, because the object is to get the most professional cut using the most professional clipper and also getting the speed out of it that you need. You need to get your cuts within 30 minutes, like I was saying, to get a reasonable, make it reasonable enough for you to get to 100K a year, So right now I'm working on this gentleman. I'm inside my mobile van. I'm cleaning them up with that. Then after that, I'll start my fade. As you can see, I'm still using the BR clippers. Excellent clippers. I just threw an attachment on it, put I think that's probably a number one, and I go around him slightly all the way around with the number one guard. Once again, this is my go-to clipper that I always start with because it's fast, it cuts out bulk, and it's quiet. That's one thing. I like to cut by not only sight but also by hearing the hair cut. So that gives me an idea of how much hair is coming off, because we got six senses and you're using all of those senses to cut hair, believe it or not, in any job you might be doing. So those BR clippers, I highly recommend them. They're probably around $300, I think, around that price point, but they are excellent. These right here are about 5 years old. They got a newer pair out. 5 years old, still running strong. The charging is still going strong, and they last well. And I keep them inside my mobile van, so they when anything you keep inside of a car, you're going to have to deal with the weather. The weather as far as the temperature inside. In the winter, it's extremely cold at nights, and the summer it's extremely hot in your car. But these clippers, all of these clippers, well, I won't say all of them. I'll tell you which ones, but these clippers perform very well no matter what the temperature is, no matter how long. I never bring them in the house. So definitely recommend those clippers. If you got them for the shop, they're going to be even better because you don't have those temperature swings inside of your shop like you would inside of a mobile van. All right. The next clipper that I use when I'm fading up a client is these babies right here in the front here. These are my Wall 100s. They're also a clipper. I've loved this clipper, and one reason why I like this clipper, I like to go to all metal clippers. When I'm purchasing a clipper, I like to try to find a metal version of the best clipper that I can get. This clipper right here is all metal. It's the 100 version of the Wall series. It's a classic series. I'm not sure if they still make this clipper, but if you can get this clipper right here, definitely hold on to it. It's also a powerhouse. Keep this one in my mobile van as well. Cuts extremely good. Fades extremely good. As you see, I haven't even gotten to it yet. I'm still using the BRs on my customer up top. Let me move to the screen so you can see. Still using the BR clippers up there, but these clippers right here, the Wall 100s, I definitely recommend you to put them in your arsenal. They are pretty quiet, as you can probably hear them now. They're not that loud. One thing about me, I don't like using clippers this loud. As you can see right now, I'm using them now to fade my clipper. The same guard, those purple guards, the magnetic guards that I was using on the Andes, also snaps right on the wall. So that also improves your speed quality. Trying to get tools or trying to get accessories that can cross over the different clippers, the more clippers you got, the more tools you got, the longer it's going to take you. So this video is all about the best clippers for the fastest cut. So once again, these clippers right here, they're workhorses. These are also about 5 years old. Leave them in the car as well, in the van as well, and they do an excellent job. They're not rusting due to humidity changes, heat changes in the car. Excellent job. So I definitely recommend those Wall 100s. Now, these other clippers that I have up here. Let me go back to my haircut right here. I'm doing this fade. We're at about the 6-minute mark. And as you can see, this is a real-time haircut. The video's not sped up. You can see these clippers really get that fade, worked out fairly quickly. Not a whole lot of work. That's important. A lot of you guys out there that might be using clippers other than these, you might be having problems with your fade, or it's taking you too long to fade. Make sure you get you some clippers that's quiet. First of all, the most quietest clippers that you can get, and the best quality clippers that you can get. I always start with Andes, then Walls is my next favorite. And I'm not a big Wall fan. The Wall 100s is actually the only Walls I use. I think all of the other Wall clippers don't have the power, nor do they have the sharpness. The Wall Seniors, I think those other ones, I forget what they call, the clips. I've other barbers in my shop use them, and I don't like the quality of them. I don't like the bill. I just don't like them. But the Wall 100s, I think those are the best ones the Wall actually came out with. Now you can you can comment and let me know if you feel as though that there's a better clipper out there for you. And what's most important is to get the best clipper for you. It's not all about what I'm showing you up here today, but it's also about getting that best clipper for you. What's going to make it work for you? These might not be the fastest clippers for you. They just might not be. But for me, these are the top horse ones. I'm a 30-year vet. I've done used every clipper. I done purchased just about everything and tried everything I can on the upper level, that is. And these are the ones that I gravitated back to. Okay, so I'm still working on this guy's haircut right here and still fading him up. We're at the 8-minute mark of this haircut. And as you can see, his fade is coming on a little nice and smooth. Forgive me, y'all, about the video clarity. I'm new to YouTube. I'm getting all these bugs worked out, man. I hope my lip sync is on point. The video up top, I got a lot going on. So these videos often, sometimes they lag because of the processing power that I have. I try to get the best that I can get, that I can afford to get anyway. All right, next up is the FXs, these gold FXs. All right. A lot of y'all use these gold FXs. I know they are highly recommended. Change the screen back so you can see it a little bit better. The gold FXs, the babeless FXs. Now, these are probably the best cutting edges, cordless edges that I've ever seen. Number one thing I like about them is that they're metal. The reason why I like metal clippers is because, they're, first of all, they're more durable, they last longer, and if you drop them, they won't break the first time anyway. Most of us is cutting on mats, something soft to protect the clippers when you drop them. These clippers right here, any pretty much metal clipper, you drop them, they're going to be good. You get those plastic clippers, you drop them one time. If they got the plastic hand on the side, you drop them one time, that's a wrap. You got to go buy another clipper. So you might as well spend that extra money and get you a metal chassis. The FXs, in my opinion, are one of the sharpest clippers, one of the sharpest that's out. One of the sharpest that's out as far as shaping up. But they do have some flaws about them. I'll let you hear the sound. They are noisy. As you can hear, these clippers are noisy. Babeless clippers in general, one thing I don't like about them, when you buy them right out the box, they sound great. Nice and quiet, nice and smooth. But if you're cutting a lot of heads, after about a couple of months, these clippers begin to get noisy. And when I took them apart to change the blades, I noticed that the insides was plastic. And that's where a lot of that noise is coming from. That plastic is heating up over time when you're cutting. If you're cutting a lot and you leave them on a lot, that plastic is heating up and it's starting to warp or bend out of shape. And that's what's causing that extra loud noise. And if you're a barber like myself, you like to you cut by ear, and sight. As you can see up top, I'm using the stylus, the Andy stylus, but that is the corded version. This right here that I got in my hand, this is the cordless version. I do not like this clipper at all. This clipper here, I only use this pretty much on kids, shaping them up. And I might use it when I'm going up under the neck. The corded version is probably the best you're going to get. I use that when I clean up my ball fades at the bottom because it has the power. You're never going to get the power out of a cordless clipper than you can a cordless. You just can't, We're going to get back to those in a minute, but that clipper right there, as you can see, I'm going around the bottom of his head. I'm not sure how sharp this video was coming in yet, but I'm going around the bottom of his head. Because it's a corded clipper, it doesn't lose any power. I don't care how thick that hair is. And if you got a nice sharp blade on there, that's my go-to, baby. I've been using this clipper probably since I've been out of barber school. And that's been 30 years ago, 30 plus years ago. So that's an excellent. They came out with this one here to try to, compete with it. And in my opinion, it just didn't get the job done. In my opinion, I do not recommend you go out and get these right here. Now, they do have their purpose. They do have these purposes. Because if you put these two side by side and you want an extremely sharp haircut, you got to have something for kids. You know, you got to have something for kids. You can't be cutting kids with this this FX, you know, it is the T-blade. See how the T-blade, I'm sure all you barbers know about the T-blade. The T-blade is wider than the outliner blade. And when you have that T-blade there, you know, you can't cut kids. First of all, the clipper is too sharp for kids. Secondly, when you're trying to shape them up and you're doing the temple part, you can clip their eyebrows because this blade is too long, and it's very difficult to get to the eyebrow section. Even if you hold it up on the edge, you know, then you're applying too much pressure. So if you cut a lot of kids, and most barbers say you're going to cut your kids, you got to get yourself a regular outliner 2-blade, not the T-blade. That's the purpose that I use this clipper right here for. I use this clipper primarily for kids and primarily for cleaning up around the neck, back of the neck, underneath the neck, where areas is kind of extra sensitive and I'm not trying to cut the client. It's excellent for that, but that's about it. They are also extremely noisy. You can hear that? Extremely noisy. And that's because when you take them apart to change the blade, you will notice that it has a plastic interior where the blade parts are moving. It's plastic. I'm sure they probably use plastic due to maybe the weight and because it's a lithium battery. I don't know. I'm not really sure, but they need to fix that. That noisy clipper, not good at all. Right now you see that, let me go back to my cut. As you can see, I'm working on my customer and I'm using the FXs now to shape him up. We're at the 14-minute mark, 14:46-minute mark of this haircut. You might can see down on the screen right there. 14:42, we're into that haircut. And once again, I'm using those Bablers. Sorry for the the moving, the rapid movement. I got a chest camera on, so doing the best I can for you to get that video shot. I'm new to the YouTube. I'm new to these cameras, so work with me, y'all. Work with me, but I'm trying to drop some good knowledge that'll help y'all in the future. Right back to that Andy's BR clipper. You see, that clipper is good for cleaning up. You see, it's an excellent clipper for cleaning up around the edges, cleaning up the fade. We're about 15 minutes in, and you see this ball fade is already pretty much in. Okay, the next clipper, you don't see this in this video because I only use this clipper in the shop. And this clipper here is the Babeless, the Babeless Pro. Let me tell you about my gripes about the Babeless Pro. All right, the Babeless Pro. This is a good clipper for fading. A lot of people are using them. The Babeless company, they've taken off over the years. They got a lot of products out. I think that it came out with too many products too fast. But this clipper, once again, it is excellent for fading. It has the click system in there for some of you beginning barbers. It's not sure exactly where to put that at. I like the clip system sometimes, and sometimes I really don't. It does have power. It does have good power for a cordless clipper, but this clipper is extremely noisy. You hear that? Come on, man. It's almost like a chainsaw, man, like I'm cutting down trees. That's why I don't use it a lot, because cutting with your ears and your sight improves your speed and it improves your quality, because you can hear hair cutting off. And when you hear hair cutting off and you hear I'm cutting off too much or I'm cutting off too little, that sound is very important. When you got a clipper like this that's that loud, that's too loud. You can't hear anything but the clipper. You can't even hear your client if you're trying to talk to him. So Babeless need to work on that. And once again, it's because of that plastic interior. That plastic interior is the reasons why that clipper is so loud. It's good for fading though. I will hand it to them. It is a very good fading clipper, but too loud for me. So I don't recommend that for barbers that's really into the amount of, what you need to, if you need to hear. If you need to hear what you're trying to cut and you just don't like all that loud noise, they're not good for kids. Don't even whip them out around kids, little kids. I mean, as soon as you cut them on, they're going to turn around and look at you and jump out the chair. That's how loud those clippers are. I've even had kids actually tell me, man, he's about to cut my head off because those clippers are so loud. So, babies, y'all need to work on that. Y'all need to work on getting y'all clippers a lot quieter. Now, if those clippers were quieter, these two clippers would be my two favorite, man. The Babeless Edges and the Babeless Pros would be my number one favorite clippers. But because of the noise level, just too loud. As you can see, I'm using the FX's edges, shaping them up. They by far are some of the sharpest cordless clippers. And cordless clippers speed your game up. You got to weigh your options between a corded and a cordless clipper. Cords get tangled a lot. You got to unplug them. You got to detangle them. Takes time. If you got yourself a good cordless clippers, and like I said, I strongly recommend those, it definitely speeds up your haircut. Definitely speeds up your haircut. So right now, I'm at about the 18, 19 minute mark on this haircut. So we're about 20 minutes in, and I'm kind of finishing up the basic haircut. Now, after I finish the basic haircut up, as I said in other videos, there's extras that you like to do to keep your customers coming back, to turn those customers into clients. In my previous videos, I'm sure you can go back and look at them. There's a difference between a customer and a client. A customer, once again, goes to anybody. A client only goes to you. So you want to retain your customers and turn them into clients. And to do that, you got to do a little bit of extra. And the extras are maybe the highlights, maybe a slight massage, maybe a shampoo. You got to do a little bit of extras and not always charge the client for your extras. If you can get your speed down under 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes for a haircut, then you can do those extras, man. Those extras won't be a problem, and you can get them in, and it won't kill you time-wise, man. You'll still be able to get those haircuts under a decent amount. All right, my next clipper up is my worst one, the worst performer right here. These are, and I think Andes should be ashamed of themselves. These are the cordless Andes Masters. Now, the Andes Masters, they're called Masters for a reason. I'm a master barber, so of course I want to use a master clipper. I've been using the Andes Masters corded version since the very beginning. They by far are the best, in my opinion, fade clipper on the market. Can't be touched. Not this one, but the one with the cord. Andes dropped the ball when they came out with this one. Now, I'm not sure if they're going to come out with another one to replace it. I know this was the first time, and when people come out something for the first time, just like my videos, they get better as you go along. So I hope Andy improves this clipper. As you can see, I got black tape around the bottom of that. This clipper is not that old. Why do I have black tape around it? Listen to that. This here, that's the loudest clipper that I have. It's even louder than the Babeless. Now, I got to hand it to you. It cuts well. The same blade is on the regular corded Masters. It cuts well. But once again, I am a clipper. I am a barber that cuts by not only sight, but by hearing as well. And you can't hear, now I don't even know if you can hear me right now. You probably can't even hear me once I cut this on. It's so loud. Once again, you take the blade off, you change the blade, you will see all of the interior at the top is plastic. Why have this nice metal chassis when the insides is plastic? Because they heat up and that plastic starts to warp, and that's why they're so loud. These clippers haven't been dropped, but I had to tape them up, because they were so loud. I figured, man, well, maybe if I tape them, they'll get quieter. Nah, didn't work. Those clippers right there are my worst clippers. I don't recommend them unless Andy improves the quality of them. But you go back to the Andy's corded version. The corded version looks exactly like this. It just has a cord on it. Those are the best clippers. I use them in the shop. I primarily use cordless clippers when I'm doing mobile, just in case I have any electrical problems. You know, it's an advanced system. Like electrical problems might happen as far as my power might go out in the van, as far as my clippers. So I like to have cordless clippers in the van, just in case of anything. And I early in my career, I did have an electrical problem. One time, I went to cut the power on, and the power didn't come on. But I had cordless clippers, so I was able to cut hair. The lights were still on, but the power on the walls wasn't working. So it's always good to have cordless clippers if you're mobile. All right, let me get back to my cut here. Y'all see where I'm at in this particular haircut. I'm pretty much finishing them up now. I'm at the let's see what mark I'm at. We're at the 23-minute mark, and this haircut is pretty much finished on up. We only have a few more minutes left before this guy is complete. And what I like to do to complete it is I like to highlight my customers. I like to give them highlights. I like to sharpen their line up. I like to give them powder lines, whatever it is that I can do extra to retain that customer and turn them into a client. Now you can't give everybody highlights. That's the spray highlights. You can't give that to everybody because everybody don't want that. You know, the highlights right now, the products have gotten better and better, so they don't come off as easily. They don't rub off on your pillows if you get the proper ones. There's so many of them out there. I'm not really going to market any particular brand right now. You may see the one that I use. It's a newer product that's in the can that you spray, and I think it's probably by far one of the best products that you can use actually for highlighting the hair. But like I said, you see, I'm cleaning them up now. I'm back to those 100s. These babies between these two right here are my number one workhorses. You know, if you got these two clippers and that FX edger, they're all three cordless. That's all you need. If you got these three in your arsenal, this one right here, and that one right there, that is all you need. All you need to complete your barber arsenal. That will give you the fastest cut, most professional, sharpest, fastest cut out there. So I mean, that's my take on the best clippers for the fastest cut. As you can see right now, I'm giving my customer what I call as a tape up, not a shape up, but a tape up technique that I came up with years ago. I don't see nobody out there using this technique, but I encourage anybody out there, if you got your speed up, to use this. This will slow you down a little bit if you don't have your speed up. But if you got your speed up, I encourage you to use this because when you're highlighting the customer, when you're spraying those highlights on them, this is going to get you the sharpest, crispiest line out there. It's sort of like how painters use painter's tape. And that's where I got the idea from. Painting my house, I put that blue tape around the edges. When you spray that paint on, you pull that blue tape off, you got that nice sharp line. Well, the same technique. You know, I use that tape. That's not painter's tape though. That's what I'm using is electrical tape. And I use the electrical tape. You see the piece that's in front of me? That's what a lot of barbers use to actually apply. I actually just use it to try to keep the hair from spraying on the customers. Now, sometimes I do use that. Sometimes I do if the cut doesn't really need a lot of highlight, doesn't need the tape, I will use that, you know, the plastic piece that you see there. And that's a good one. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't use it, but the tape, you can't go wrong with that tape. Once you shape them up and you give them a sharp, nice shape up, a nice sharp line, you got to make sure that line is sharp because once you put that tape on, it's going to be there. You see how I'm peeling that tape off and how sharp that line is once you pull that tape off. You're not going to get that sharp of a line using, you know, one of those plastic, you know, things or your business card. You're just not going to get that line that sharp. That's the sharpest you're going to get. And it makes a difference. Every little tiny thing makes a difference. Don't think it doesn't. When the customer looks at that haircut for the first time, when you show them the mirror and they looking at themselves like they've never seen themselves before, that's going to change those customers and the clients. They're going to come back to you and only you after that. So, this cut is about finished up, man. We are at the 27-minute mark. This was in real time. I didn't cut the video. You see, I didn't do any edits. And as you can see how sharp that line is, I normally go back over it with my FXs just to clean it up a little bit more, because once you spray it, you actually can see some hairs that you didn't even get because it's so sharp. So I clean it up like that, and man, you can't go wrong, man. You can't go wrong. So this is my episode of the fastest clippers that you can use. The fastest clippers that you can use. Also, before I go, you see I'm using those shears. A lot of barbers don't use those shears. You got to get those shears out and get those loose ends off those haircuts no matter what it is. You can't have a sharp, crispy haircut without cleaning it up with the shears. I got barbers in my shop. They see me using the shears. Now they're like, hey, I need to use those shears. They sound good when you use them. They're impressive to the customer, and they actually work. They do the job. I'm finishing this man up right now, and we're at the 29-minute mark. So within 29 minutes, he got himself a nice, fresh fade, shape up face and all, and he's ready to go, and I'm ready to go to my next appointment. So with that in mind, y'all, I want to thank y'all for checking out this video, episode 2 of New Styles Mobile Barber Cuts by Dre, the second episode of the 100K challenge. We're still doing the 100K discount. So if you're checking out this video, you can put in the same code that you used for my last video. That's 100K. Put that in the discount code when you're checking out, and you'll get $5 off your next appointment or any appointment after that. You could use this code until it expires or until I come out with a new video. So hey, I want to thank y'all for checking me out. Dre, New Styles Mobile Barber, Cuts by Dre. Make sure you check out my video coming up again next week. We're going to be going into another episode. That'll be the third episode on the $100,000 challenge. I'm trying to give y'all tips and techniques on how to get there, how to improve your clipper game, how to improve your speed. We're going to be going into websites next time, man. That's very important, getting there. I'm going to go through my website, let you see how I built it, how I use it, and I'm just going to let you see the whole work so that, you can really get an idea of what you need to get there. Websites are very important. Booking apps is very important. So make sure you check out my next episode. All right, check out the next episode. So the finished cut right here on this cut right here. See what it looked like. That's the finished job right there. You see, you got a nice, fresh, tight fade. This guy will be coming back. One of my good customers, man. You can't beat that. Very good customer, man. And hey, this is New Styles Mobile Barber Cuts by Dre. Make sure you check me out for my next episode. All right. Thank y'all for checking me out. I'll see you the next time.
Number one of my class.